is the crown.
Welcome back to the I Am Heavy Cash podcast. You already know it's your boy Don Heavy representing for the NY and the shop. We're going to jump right into it like I like to do. So, Don Heavy, checking in with Don Heavy right now. I'm seeing a lot of IPOs, initial public offerings, if you don't know what that is, and a lot of money being, submitted in crowdfunding for these venture capitalists. Well, not really venture capitalists, but for these startups. So these venture capitalists are funding a lot of these startups, and they're funding the hell out of these startups. Let me tell you, I'm talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars. Sometimes giving these startups like Uber, Uber's not a startup anymore, but Uber is going around crowdfunding. They're valued at $50 billion. I mean, I love Uber. I use Uber, not a lot, but I use it. I see how it's taking over the cities and it's employing a lot of people that probably wouldn't have jobs any other way, but they have cars. I don't know how they did that. I don't know how you don't have a job, but you do have a car. But whatever. Either way, Uber bridged the gap, but I don't know if they bridged the gap and they're worth $50 billion. Let's just put it like that. But anyway, with all these new IPOs, these initial public offerings, and all this crowdfunding happening with these startups, you would almost believe that we're in a bull market. Now, Don Heavy does not believe that we're in a bull market. Don Heavy believes that we are at the end of a bear market, but everybody has their own opinion, so whatever. I'll just leave it at that. But what I will say is that Wall Street is very trendy. What I mean is that monkey see, monkey do on Wall Street. If someone does something and another company thinks that's the right thing, or another individual thinks it's the right thing, a lot of people will follow suit and do it, whether it's right or wrong. They won't even think twice about it. Now, with the IPOs, right? Twitter. I love Twitter. I love Twitter as a social media enterprise or social media idea, social media functioning capabilities. I like Twitter for its social media functioning capabilities. All right. But as a business, as something that is supposed to generate some type of earnings power, I don't agree with Twitter at all. I don't agree with Twitter, and I do not believe that Twitter should be a public company, and as well as Square. Now, Jack Dorsey, you my dude. You are very smart. You come up with a lot of ideas, and you're so damn smart that you got all these venture capitalists and all these investment bankers funding your companies to go for initial public offerings. Now, what I want to know is, as an investor, there's rules, there's steps to actually investing. So, first step is, seeing the idea, liking the idea. Then the next step is proof of concept. Then the margins. And then we want to talk about how much money are we going to invest for a piece of the pie. Now, when you get to proof of concept and the margins, I don't mean to pick on you, Jack Dorsey, but I'm going to talk about Square because I know those numbers. When you get to margins and proof of concept, Square is just, I'm going to say it's just like PayPal. Now, here's the kicker. Square, for the last 4 years, has not made any profits. Actually, they lost money in the last 4 years. I'm talking about hundreds of millions. Now, how are you going for an initial public offering to get the public people to give you money to run your business, and you have nothing but losses in the last 4 years? Now, I know part of going public, you have to have $10 million in revenue. But that's revenue. We're not talking about profits. We're talking about revenue. And Square obviously has, I'm assuming they obviously have more than $10 million in revenue, but you're losing hundreds of millions of dollars consecutively, bruh. How do you do that with an IPO? And then all these other crowdfunding startups that are generating hundreds of millions of dollars for ideas that I'm like, okay, that's one thing, but that can't run by itself. That obviously has to be bought by another company. And I see that the trend here is a lot of people want to get rich, and nobody's satisfied with getting rich the slow way, so they go broke the fast way. Now the problem is that all of these people can afford to do make these dumb decisions, but the people that are following these rich people, that are following their behavior and their characteristics and their moves because they think that the rich people know what they're doing. Rich doesn't mean you're smart. Smart doesn't mean you're rich. Understand that, people. Rich doesn't mean you're smart. Smart does not mean you are rich. Come on. Mike Tyson was rich. Need I say more? But anyway, rich people do a lot of dumb things with their money. Just because you're rich does not mean that you're a good investor. Okay? So when you see these people throwing money into these startups, understand something. 50% of businesses don't make it. 75% of businesses make it for about 10 years, then they don't make it. Just because you're throwing money into a startup, into some type of venture that you think is going to get you majorly paid, because we only talk about heavy cash on IM Heavy Cash. If you throw your money into something, it might be 15 or 20 years before you get any return. Now, here's the kicker. At the stock market, if you throw your money into that, you can cash out at any time. But with a startup, your money's locked in, bruh. Ain't nobody about to be willing to just to buy shares of a startup. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the SEC just announced that they're allowing the public, regular investors, not professionals, but just regular people, to start investing in these startups because it's the wave. Everybody's doing it. So now look, it's trendy. They're letting regular people do it. This is a very big mistake, I believe. And I will not partake in it. But you know what? Don Heavy cannot really say that he won't partake in it, because Don Heavy does extensive research before every investment. So if Don Heavy and the Don Heavy team see something that we can get at a bargain value, or see something that is selling for 30 cents on the dollar, yes, my team will jump in and get on that ass. But we're not just going to be all willy-nilly for the startups. To be honest with you, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with regular stocks, with actual securities when the startup thing kicks off, because I think a lot of people are going to divest their money out of the stock market and throw it into these startups, because that's just what happens on Wall Street. People just follow just everyone. The crowd just goes one way. And I think there's going to be a lot of food on the table left for the hungry people in the stock market that, have been waiting for things to even up. Volkswagen dropped, Walmart dropped. It's a lot of things that's dropping, and there's a lot of opportunities out there for the investor that is continually researching and looking for these type of opportunities. Benjamin Graham calls those guys enterprise investors. Now, defensive investors, I'm sure you guys will not participate in a startup because, in crowdfunding for a startup, especially when the SEC gets involved and starts regulating things, because it's not enough information on this stuff. And unless you're a professional investor and you started, like my man, nobody knows my man, but my man that's the producer on the I Am Heavy Cash podcast, Bucci Bands, that's what they call him. When his financial professor said that this is a financial professor, people, she only invests in local businesses. I don't know how successful she's been in that, but if you're doing that and you're successful, then you're the type of person that will probably read a report on a startup and throw your money in there. But if you're not that type of person and you throw your money in there, you're just an idiot. So if you're not the type of person that invests in local businesses, and you're not the type of person that researches extensively before you throw your money into anything, especially an investment or something in the stock market, or security in the stock market, and you start throwing your money into this new program that the SEC is opening up for regular people to throw $2,000 or 5% of your wealth into a crowd fund, you're an idiot. I'm just going to say that right now. Don Heavy says you're an idiot. Don Heavy will address you on a money talk. And I don't care if there's hundreds of you. I don't care if there's thousands of you. Don Heavy will voice his disappointment. I'm voicing it right now. I don't believe what the SEC is doing is the right thing to do. I think that they're just trying to get a lot of people paid, which a lot of people will get paid from the ignorance and the stupidity of a lot of other people. Same thing with these IPOs. Why would you ever invest in a company that you really don't know anything about? Square, how many people are looking at Square like, oh man, I can't wait for that to go public, but don't even know that they took, more than $50 million in losses for the last 4 years. How many people know that? You guys are not doing your homework. You're just thinking of a get-rich-quick scheme. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. If it was that easy, I would get up on the mic right now and say, yo, the next company that offers the public some shares files for an IPO, buy that. And in 10 years, you're going to be a millionaire. No, that's not the case. A lot of companies offer IPOs and drop out the race. Speaking of race, Ferrari is another one I'm just not getting right now. How is Ferrari going for an IPO and they're valued at $10 billion? Now, do I believe Ferrari is worth $10 billion as a company? Around there. Do I believe that Ferrari should be a public company? No. Do I believe that a lot of people became billionaires or close to billionaires from Ferrari filing the IPO? Yes. Do I believe that the public is going to kick itself in the ass for investing in Ferrari? A lot of people will. A lot of people probably overpaid for Ferrari. I just don't think, wealth is growing. The 1% is getting bigger. There's more multimillionaires and more billionaires in the world than this world has ever seen. So yes, Ferrari is getting a lot more play in the luxury car industry, in the luxury car segment of the car industry, but I just don't think that they should be a public company. I don't think that you guys are selling enough. But you know what? I like Tesla. I believe Tesla's for the future. I believe that Ferrari is more of a toy than it is, a necessity. And therefore, that's why I don't really believe in Ferrari as a public company. But you know what? I'm not the man that came out with the IPO. Ferrari did. And the SEC let them do it. So if you invested in Ferrari, best of luck to you. If you didn't, congratulations. That's all I'm going to say. But all these IPOs coming out and all this millions and millions and billions of dollars going to these crowd funds, people, do your research. Don't just do what you think the next man is doing or what you deem to be correct by the next man. Don't just do that. People, take care of your money. Invest your money. Invest your time and research on investments. How about that? Come around full circle. Invest your time and research investments. You like the way that sounds? Don Heavy likes to break shit down the way it needs to be broken down. Invest your time and research investments. Do your due diligence and make money. Don't make excuses, baby. Just make money. That's all we do on I Am Heavy Cash. It's all about the heavy cash. If you're not getting heavy cash, you're just doing it the wrong way. Get yourself some dividends. Get yourself some compound interest. I don't know how many different times I could say it on this podcast, on this show, but you guys definitely need to get some good investments. You guys definitely need to do some research. Definitely do your due diligence. I don't know how many times I should say it. Bushi Band's here. Hears me say it a whole bunch of times, whether I'm on the podcast, whether I'm doing I Am Heavy Cash, or whether I'm just talking in conversation, or whether I'm doing my own research. He hears me say it. Research, dividends, compound interest. He probably wakes up in his sleep dreaming about compound interest and dividends and charts and return on equity and stuff like that, or PE ratio, stuff like that. He probably dreams about it and has nightmares about it because I'm always talking about it. I'm always thinking about it. I'm being it. I'm being a PE ratio right now. Right now, in the future, I see that I Am Heavy Cash is undervalued and you should invest your time and listen to I Am Heavy Cash so you don't lose your money. I'm looking in my crystal ball and I'm seeing this right now. You and you. Yes, you guys that want to be investors. You need to look inside yourself. Listen to Don Heavy. Check in with Don Heavy. My schedule is clear every Tuesday and Thursday. Check in with Don Heavy. Set yourself up an appointment. 10 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Listen to I Am Heavy Cash. I talk about these things because I care about the people. Don Heavy does what he does with love from the heart and with love for your pockets. Because what I'm telling you, I already know. But what I'm telling you, you need to know. How do I know that you need to know? Because all this behavior that I'm seeing, these IPOs and this crowdfunding for billions and multi-millions of dollars for these faulty companies that have no proof of concept, that have, their margins are low-key, funky style, they wouldn't be able to do what they do if the masses weren't flocking to them in such a crazy way. But see, they're doing what they're doing because it's a trend. They know. It's just a trend. It's like sales. It's like something goes on sale. Those jeans over there go on sale. Okay, I'm gonna make the shirts go on sale because people don't want the jeans with the shirts. It's this business. People, open your eyes, open your minds, open your ears. Listen to Don Heavy. And with that, thank you for tuning into the I Am Heavy Cash podcast. You already know it's your boy Don Heavy. Every Tuesday and Thursday after 8 p.m. we drop the podcast. And if you'd like to know more on investing, check out Money Talks at the end of every week, where we just break down financial situations with notable people around the world. And if you're a beginner investor, or if you need to sharpen some of the tools, definitely check out the Black Market Watch. And this is all available on the YouTube channel Don Heavy. Check me out on Twitter. Send in some questions, DonHeavy_invest. And I'll see y'all guys next time. Peace and love.
This program is brought to you by Her Pretty Ghost and Better New Business. Thank you for tuning in.